Happy Friday morning, Freight Masters. Today's video is going to be on a trucker who got scammed and my investigation into that and exposing this double broker. Okay, so I received a call Wednesday afternoon from a carrier that I didn't really know who was having issues with getting paid by this broker, right? And so we had a bit of a discussion about it. He mentioned the brokerage's name who sent him the rate confirmation. And I said, hey, I know that broker, right? He's a friend of mine. And so I said, could you send me over that paperwork? I said, let me, forward it to him and we'll get this taken care of, right? So inevitably, he emailed everything over to me. I looked at it and it looked very, very suspicious, like immediately red flags. The rate confirmation, number one, looked like it was something put together by, I don't know, someone with an underdeveloped brain or something. It was just atrocious, right? Number one. Number two, I know for a fact that that was not my friend's rate confirmation. Okay. Number three, there was no signature on it. There was nothing. Right? There was normally at the bottom of your rate confirmations, there's a place for the carrier to sign and date, right? There was no other wording in it whatsoever. It looked like something that had been photoshopped or put into Microsoft Word or something. It was just very, very generic looking. There was overlap in the wording. It was bad, right? I looked at the POD on the load, and that was legit. Okay, that part was legit. So I said, I called the gentleman back, and I said, look, I know for a fact that this is not their rate confirmation. So give me some time to kind of dive into this. I'm going to call him. And if I have your permission, I said, I'll start to investigate this. And so he said, absolutely. He says, I'm on the road. I don't have time for this. On top of everything, this gentleman is a veteran. It's a veteran owned business, right? So I try to reach out to the shipper, the receiver, and the receiver is, well, technically they were the shipper. In fact, they're a pretty big shipper. And if you're a truck driver, you actually might be behind the wheel of one of these trucks from the shipper. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to disclose a ton of names or anything like this, but I asked him for the email address that the rate confirmation came from, the name of the individual, and the phone number, because they had text messages back and forth, right? So the name came back, and obviously that's a fictitious name. There's been multiple, when I found out who the actual double broker was, there are multiple aliases, right, on this. There is multiple phone number changes inside the FMCSA. I mean, there's just, like I said, all these different red flags. They've got watchdog reports. They've got identity theft, double brokering, all of this kind of stuff. So in my investigation into this, I actually called the delivering carrier back, and I said, are you factoring? Well, yeah. I said, okay, your factoring company was okay with this? And he said, well, he says, I didn't turn it into factoring until after I delivered the load, and that's when they rejected it. Okay, not to call anybody out, but number one, always, if you're using factoring, always run that broker through your factoring company first. Okay. Second thing is that he booked the load later on in the day. This double broker said, hey, it's getting toward the end of the day. Let me just send you a rate confirmation. We'll worry about doing the RMIS setup in the morning. No broker, excuse me, I got hiccups today. No broker is going to do that. Okay. The originating broker on this load, broker A, let's call them, did not do proper vetting on this load. Okay. They gave it to this carrier, which they required a dry van for this. When I searched into who this double broker was, they only have carrier authority. They have a pickup truck and a PJ trailer. They have no dry van. Okay. It's literally like one of them little utility trailers that you might use for yard cleanup or something. That's all they have. Okay. That was where we knew that this fictitious rate confirmation came from, and the identity theft. When we start to ping their IP address, the IP address goes back to Pakistan. They have multiple residential addresses in Illinois at a minimum of where this carrier is registered. I have pictures of their house. I'm still in the process of trying to reach out to this double broker. I am working with my friend whose brokerage his identity has been stolen, right? They got hacked. So I'm getting close to the end of this rabbit hole. This actually may end up being a part 2 video. But there's a lot of things that this so could have been avoided. Number one, by the originating broker doing their due diligence and properly vetting this carrier, right? They were relying on their RMIS as the one all to end all vetting process to this carrier. So they didn't verify equipment type. They didn't call the driver to make sure. They didn't tell the shipper that, hey, this is who's picking up, truck number, trailer number, name on the door, any of this, right? Like, they completely dropped the ball. So ultimately the fault lies initially with them. Okay. If you are a small broker, which this company is, and actually the one who booked the load is supposed to be the executive vice president of operations, which that sounds like such a very fictitious job title. I don't know how they're operating, how their customers are even still working with them at this point, with the way the world is today, the industry, and they're not doing their part, right? And this goes back to a quick little sidebar here. This goes back to every broker out there or carrier that's soliciting new business with customers. Somewhere along the way, somebody's going to drop the ball, and you're going to get in. Okay. I know prospecting is tough right now. It's getting a little bit easier. We've picked up several new customers this week. It can be done, right? In fact, 2 of those new customers that agreed to work with me are because of this very same reason, because their brokers have become unreliable. They got complacent. They're not doing their checks, right? They've got, ABC carrier is who they're saying is picking up the load, when inevitably XYZ carrier is the one who's picking up the load. Well, what happened? Why is an ABC carrier picking up the load, right? So, which, by the way, do you guys like me bigger on the screen, or you want me back down here in the lower left corner? The screen share is probably prettier to look at than I am, but Anywho, so yeah, the originating broker was ultimately at fault for dropping the ball on this, especially for such a very large shipper, which I'm sure probably makes up about 99% of their business, right? I don't know that for a fact, but based on the size of this shipper, they're a big company, okay? Which for such a young brokerage, I don't know how they got in. Maybe they've got a relative or something, an aunt or an uncle, somebody that works there. It's the only thing I can think of. But anywho, they issued it to this double broker without properly vetting. Carrier B accepted the load without doing their due diligence on this broker, without noticing the red flags, without verifying anything, right? Which ultimately at the receiver, this ended up being a 4-day drop of his trailer, which he was not initially aware of, right? His rate confirmation was substantially more than what the load originally paid. Okay, just all kinds of, it's bad, right? And like I said, I may end up having to turn this into a part 2 video. At this point, I can't really name names, but it's a lesson, right? A life lesson for any of you out there doing business, whether you're a dispatcher, broker, carrier, owner, operator, whatever. You've got to do your due diligence, right? We need to be utilizing, if you're factoring, make sure you're working with a factoring company who is taking care of you, right? We've been over this. I don't know how many times. Working with the rock stars over at Operfi, there's no way that they would have allowed this to happen. No way would they. If you were factoring through Operfi and you said, "Hey, I've got this load picking, up from, this broker," no way would they have let that happen. They just said, "Yeah, that's bad. Don't do it." Or you do it at your own risk, right? We're not going to factor that invoice. Number 2, check the FMCSA. Utilize your other resources out there like Highway, Carrier OK, Carrier 411, right? You cannot rely on My Carrier Packets, DAT Onboard, RMIS, and things like this as your one-all end-all of vetting. You can't do it. Not in this day and age. Double brokering has been around for years and years and years. And back in the day, it was, it happened, but Carrier B typically got paid, right? It might have been rebrokered, but Carrier B typically got paid. That is not the case anymore. The FMCSA has completely dropped the ball with allowing these overseas people to get in there, use virtual addresses, their aunt or uncle, their cousins, their nephews, whoever, residential address. The authorities are going to be called on this, right? And if you're the person that double brokered this load, I hope you're watching right now because you're going to jail. We eCarrierCheck. Use eCarrierCheck. That's another great all-in-one vetting platform for finding shippers, finding carriers, vetting shippers. Okay, I'm handing you guys all of these tools and resources. We need to be using them, right? If you're just working bare bones with nothing and flying by the seat of your pants, you're not going to last long. And it's unfortunate, but we have to be utilizing some of these tools and resources that we have that are available to us to survive in this day and age. And it's not just brokers, it's you carriers too, right? So ultimately, we're getting to the end of this rabbit hole, and I'm hoping for a very, very happy ending to all of this. Like I said, and I reached out to the shipper. They were the consignor and the consignee, and so they are actually looking into it. their financial services department, everything. We're staying in communication with them. I believe they're the ones that are going to end up issuing payment to the carrier who actually picked up the load and delivered it to them. I don't know how this is going to fare for the originating broker on the load, because this is bad for them in the eyes of their customer, right? Yeah. If you guys have any comments to say on this, by all means, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, this is we have to stay on our toes, right? And it's filling out the carrier packets, reading what's in the carrier packets, not just blanketly signing, right? And in fact, I've got 2 other issues that I'm going to have to deal with after this one. And I'm taking time out of my day, all day yesterday. That's the whole reason why I didn't do a video yesterday, because I literally rolled up my sleeves yesterday morning, and it took me pretty much all day. I worked 12 hours on this. Well, no, 13 hours on this yesterday straight. I set aside everything else that I was doing. And this really ultimately comes down to also protecting yourself from phishing emails and all of these types of things. You need to buff yourself up on cybersecurity, right? QR codes, emails, links to websites, attachments in an email, right? Do not open them if you don't know where they're coming from. If you know that it's not supposed to say xyz.1.com, it's originally supposed to be xyz.com. Don't click that link, right? They just tweak it a little bit. I apologize. I forgot to shut the phone off there. But yeah, stay on your toes, stay diligent. I'll probably do a follow-up video on this, but I hate to see anybody, and this gentleman who got scammed, which we're going to inevitably end up getting him paid, right? It's unfortunate that he fell into this trap. He gave this person the benefit of the doubt. He's just a very good-hearted individual. And I'm not saying be ruthless in this industry, but be leery, right? We need to be careful. Everything that we do, whether you're an owner-operator, a fleet owner, or a broker, we need to stay diligent, never get complacent with vetting, okay? Utilize the tools and resources at your disposal, right? We've got a list of a bunch of them down there. If you guys need anything, if you're the victim of double brokering or some other scam and you're needing help, I can't promise you that I'm going to be able to put in the time that I have into this one and probably the next 2 that I have on my plate, because I have my own job to do, right? I will do my very best to at least try to help point you in the right direction, or refer you to somebody who might be able to help you chase down some go down some of these rabbit holes and things, because I love this industry. I'm very, very passionate about it, and that's the reason why I took so much time out of my day, right? It hurts me to see somebody get scammed, because I mean, this was a fairly decent amount. It was a $4,200 rate confirmation, right? And with the state of the industry right now, that could make or break a business. Not to mention, the lost revenue from leaving the trailer there, for 4 days. I care about everybody out there. I really, truly do. And this is why I've built such an expansive network, right? Beyond some of the resources and things that I have, I know a lot of carriers by name. Sometimes we're not able to keep in touch as much as we often do, but oftentimes we do. And it's you know, how's the family and things, and you know, we really need to get together, and you know, hey, I'm going to be in Michigan this spring, you know, or this summer, we should get together. Absolutely, let's, you know, go have dinner. You know, this is how personal a lot of this is to me. You know, I really truly I care about it. I care about all you, and I don't want to see anybody fall victim to some of these bad actors that are out there. Right? That's the whole reason behind this YouTube channel, behind the Facebook group and everything. I don't want to see anybody fall victim to any of this. I want to see everybody be successful and have customers and be able to take care of their family and pay their bills and live a good life. Right? So with that, I will wrap up this video. Like I said, I'll probably end up doing a part 2 to this. If you're not already utilizing some of the resources that you know you need as a broker or a carrier, I always include the list in the description for you guys. You know, whether you use those or, you know, use other similar companies, these are just my recommendations, right? Because I've got experience with these companies. You know, they're great people to work with. Their resources are expansive. You know, they've been very helpful to me and many others that I know that also use these same resources. So with that, again, you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, my email, and again, I keep it monitored all day, every day. Maybe not quite so much on the weekend, but I do check in on it. Feel free to email me, freightmasterresources@gmail.com. I will do everything in my power to help you, right? I am getting closer. I know you guys wanted me to do some live cold calling. I am getting closer to that. I'm not a big techie guy. I mean, I could sit here with my iPhone and hold it up and be like, you know, on speaker. I would really rather not do it that way. I have had a few people that have offered to help, and I'm sorry if I lost your contact information, but I'm really trying to put it together so it incorporates with the video, right? If you'd like to be a guest on the show, if you're an owner operator, you want to come on and vent and talk about some of the things that, you know, relate to what this channel and the group and everything is about, by all means, email me. If you're on Facebook, DM me on Facebook. If you're a member of the group, I'm the admin, right? Or get a hold of one of the moderators. They'll put you in touch with me. We got some really great moderators in there. You know, we keep the group spam free and everything. And we'll have you on the show, right? We'll wrap and talk about the market, or, you know, issues that you're, you know, what kind of barriers or hurdles that you're seeing as a carrier or as a broker. You know, I'd love to have you on. I love having guests on the show because then I don't have to do all the talking, right? Makes my job a little easier. So with that, I will sign off. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Again, don't fall victim to these scammers. And I look forward to doing a part 2 on this for you. Ta-ta for now.